Hello and welcome, everyone. Sorry, I was having a little bit of mic trouble there. My name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Welcome back to the Dam Challenge. Today we are showcasing entries from the Paradise Dam Challenge, which we picked a couple weeks ago. Quick welcome to Lord Rev, Antics and Rolls, Jackal Animatronic, Blue Mage, Atlam, Sailor Yugoth. Hello, 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 hello. You can hear me? Awesome, perfect. Glad you can hear me. Good, good, good. Audio, everything coming through, like for music as well. And sorry you're not feeling well, Antics and Rolls, but yeah, hopefully this will allow you to pass the time. Half Ogre, welcome back, my friend. Oh, forgot to pull the lens cap off. Always something like that. Move it. The music's on really faint in the background. It's just designed to be really, really light background noise. If you turn up the stream a little bit, you might hear it. It's really not designed to be there that much. The whole point of it is just like very, very faint background something. But for the most part, it shouldn't really be that overbearing. Welcome back, one and all. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is a map-making utility available on Steam. We offer a free demo, so you can try before you buy, kind of test drive it on your system, see how it runs. Today's stream is a showcase of community maps that were entered in the Paradise Dam Challenge. The Dam Challenge is a ongoing bi-weekly map-making contest we host on our various stream platforms and in our Discord. It is a very fun kind of challenge yourself type map making contest where you push yourself to, new heights, new limits, and creativity to make very fun maps to share with the community that everyone can benefit from, that you feel fit the theme. So the last theme we chose was Paradise. We had 6 entries using Paradise as inspiration. We had a kind of a neat cross-reference of different maps from that theme. Anyway, so the winning map is the one you see in front of you, Mountain Elves Refuge by Sailor Yugoth, and I see that they're here. Congratulations to Sailor Yugoth on your win of the Dam Challenge. Whoa! The TikTok chat came through in the stream. That is so cool. It never does that. Hey, Scooby Doofus, how you doing? So I have a multi-chat up, and never has it come up in there. I think they finally fixed it. That is so cool. So that is a very good question. Scooby over on TikTok says, I love the demo, but I'm torn because I run modern and sci-fi mostly. Time frame on other genres. So currently, Dungeon Alchemist's primary aesthetic is fantasy, though it does lean into some steampunk and like early Western or even like Victorian with the current, base of models that are included. Now in the demo, you only get access to the tavern and a small slice of the pie of objects. Additionally, you only get access to the forest biome. Now, I will say this, though. If you're running modern and, like, sci-fi, there is a whole subset of creators in our community who use Dungeon Alchemist to make those types of maps. Unfortunately, the demo doesn't give you access to the Steam Workshop map browser, which has over 11,000 maps. But, like, right here on the first page is a sci-fi frigate made entirely in Dungeon Alchemist. So it is quite possible to make sci-fi maps, even though it's not our base tool set, because we don't really include any objects that do it, but we include a bunch of tools that allow you to take advantage of the tool set within Dungeon Alchemist to make any maps you'd like. So what I mean by that really quickly, first off, the ability to share maps. So if somebody else has a sci-fi map, they can share it, or a modern map, or an apocalypse map, or a Fallout map, or whatever. Additionally, there's the asset browser, where we have over 8,000 assets shared by our community currently, 8,800 actually. Some, you know, fit this the fantasy, some are kind of broad. I mean, a shark could really be any time. But if you scroll down here a little bit, you'll start noticing, oh, there's some sci-fi consoles, sci-fi lab, you know, little objects that fit that aesthetic more. You have a search bar as well, so let's search sci-fi. Let's see what we come up with. Let's see. Let's get to the bottom here. 18 pages of sci-fi assets. So there's quite a bit to expand upon and use. These objects you can place almost anywhere and make custom maps with them. So while it's not something currently built into like our generation tools, our room generation or anything like that, it is possible to go download these assets or even import your own sci-fi assets through our asset importer. So I would say that while it's not built in, we have given our community plenty of tools to allow them to make sci-fi maps or apocalypse maps or really any theme they want using Dungeon Alchemist as the tool frame set. Especially with this asset importer, which supports 3 different types of 3D files: STL, FBX, and GLB/GLTF, I guess 4. But those, you know, combination of different 3D files allow you to import animated assets, full color assets, plain, simple 3D models, to use and expand your library to have all sorts of building capacity. Anyway, Scooby, I hope that answers your question there. I'm actually so happy that TikTok chat is coming through my multi-chat feed now. Back to the dam challenge. Congratulations, Sailor Yugoth. Can we just give him a serious round of applause here? Give him a pat on the back, and just welcome back to the community, my friend. You've been missed. Glad to have your maps and creativity back in the community. Sailor Yugoth's first language isn't English, so they try their best to interact and type and chat with the community, but that is sometimes a thing that holds them back a little bit. But I will speak on their behalf and just say thank you. And, you know, they are just incredible map maker, first off. Very talented, very creative, and always coming up with new and unique ideas. But this build is incredibly beautiful and has a lot of detail to it. You know what? We missed you, my friend. Ooh, let's see here. My Steam still has, oh, there it is. This whole time I thought it wasn't working. I guess it just needed to be refreshed. There we go. So here's just one section of the map. You have like these beautiful round homes, which fantastic work on the decor and design of these. Fantastic build work here, design work. Just feels like every one of these is a unique lived-in space that's kind of their own custom. I really enjoy the ivy on the outside too. Adds to the elven aesthetic you were going for. This right here is fantastic stonework. Probably took a good chunk of time to get that right. I really like the bay windows too. So you just did a round bump out and did double windows on it? That's cool. Really like that. You got a game on this map tomorrow and you're nervous, you have new players? Well, I wish you all the luck in the world. This little area looks really interesting over here. Again, some brilliant stonework to make this staircase. Probably took like a good hour to lay this out. How our friend Sailor Yugoth does this is they'll disable the collision toggle, which gives you a lot more control over objects. It allows you to merge them together and raise them up and down. So if you disable collisions, you have so much more control. Additionally, you can scale objects far above or below their normal capacity to make them microscopic or huge. This will work for pretty much all objects save, you know, like objects that have a fixed size, like a wall-mounted object or like a lantern or something like that, a pit. So those bay windows, Half Ogre, are they're in the window panel. So our friend here just made sure that he had like a round little dimple outside here on the edge, right? And then just put windows on it. So here, if you just delete these, it just looks like this. That's the piece of wall on the structure. But instead, he applied the bay windows that you would find probably under, yeah, bay. One of these, I'm guessing. It's one of these two. Looks like a double. Yeah. So that goes there. Or even the triple. Might have been the triple. Yeah, it was the triple. Triples is best. Triples is safe. Quite cool, eh? I like it. That's very creative. Also, you know, you don't see much use of the halfling door or whatever. The round door. It fits the elven aesthetic really well, though, with, like, the filigree and design work on it. Could very easily pass for elven. Like, I think a lot of people are fixated on, like, what dwarven is based on, like, you know, designs you see in... And dwarven and elven based on what you see in, like, Lord of the Rings, primarily. Right, Flea? I mean, we're always upgrading the program and adding new stuff. We have a major update planned in just a few short months, actually, within the next quarter of the year, called Fun with Objects. And that one will actually incorporate multi-level structures with the room tool. So you can generate level on top of level on top of level. So you can have like towers or underground structures, etc. Lots of new stuff coming in that update. But right now, I mean, if you haven't played with Dungeon Alchemist, say, in like a year, like round and diagonal rooms, rooms at different heights, all sorts of neat things. You can kind of build at different levels. Notice here, there's a home here, right? And then this one is raised up, has stairs. It goes up to a different height. So you can build at different heights, in fact, currently. And you can build multiple level structures by hand, but it's kind of tricky. It's a little tricky, I'm not going to lie. But I enjoy the challenge, so I like making them. I've actually made like a couple multi-level structures. Here, I'll show you one really quickly. Like this here is my wizard tower, and I built this like before we even had round room generation too. Windows and doors will dynamically curve with rounded rooms. Yes. Hey, do you want to see a teaser of some of those multi-levels, Flea? I'm sure everybody would love to see some teasers, so let's showcase some of this cool new stuff. So this is actually a build one of the devs made to kind of showcase the new underground building, how you'll be able to build structures, but also have like caves and stuff, all just below the surface of your, you know, existing builds. So we're going underground. Gonna be cool. Also, will being allowing you to build upward, of course, because it's silly to not have like towers, right? So you'll be able to generate rooms of any shape, whatever, and then put a room on top of that room. And those rooms can be different shapes, as you can see. So you can have like a balcony or whatever. So this is some cool new stuff that'll be hopefully coming out in the next few months. If you have any questions about this fleet, let me know, and I will do my best to address them. We're actually going to go back to showcasing maps from the Dam Challenge, though. We host a bi-weekly map making contest on our stream platforms. We're multi-streaming right now on Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Steam, etc. And basically, we pick a theme every 2 weeks. The last theme we picked was Paradise, and then users in our community use that as inspiration and make a map and then submit it. If they win, they get a $10 Hero Forge gift card, and their map is the first one featured. Now, during streams, though, I do not mind answering questions and providing, insight and support. So we generally will, kind of stop to do that. So you do need to boot up Dungeon Alchemist, though. It's been a while. If it's been a while, then there's probably a lot of changes, is what I'm getting at. But there's also a lot of big changes on the horizon, so it'd be good to get reacclimated with it. But like this building here is just all objects stacked on top of each other. All I did was disable collisions, and I can move objects around. I can move them up and down when collisions are off. And then each one of these rooms is basically everything in the room is balanced on top of the floor. I made sure the walls, the objects, everything is on top of this floor, so I can move it like a solid piece, kind of like Lego or like a dollhouse that you can pull apart. You know what I mean? And it's actually fully navigable in first person, so you can place a token and walk around inside and up and down the stairs and stuff. So, I mean, really all I did was disable collisions and stack objects on top of each other over and over and over again, like Lego, basically, to make this. At the end of the day, it's a pretty simple concept, but it just takes time. A little bit of patience, too. So when the next update comes out, stuff like this will be a thing of the past. It'll be super simple to make. You'll be able to generate the rooms, and then generate the room on top of the room, generate rooms under the room. Cosmic Adventures, we are showcasing maps that are made in Dungeon Alchemist. It's a map-making tool for fantasy-based tabletop games, such as Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder, etc. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Let's go back to the map we were looking at before. Nice, Flea. Congratulations. Hey, thank you for the like, and also I'm really excited for you starting up your new campaign. If you are not already, I highly recommend you drop into our Discord, because we have like GM-based chat where you can bounce ideas off of other people for like stat blocks and counters, maps, etc. Our GM community loves supporting each other. I am doing well, Lalandra. Thank you. I'm on the developer team. Yes, I'm part of the team. My name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. This is the official channel for Dungeon Alchemist. Right now, we're technically showcasing maps that were shared by our community, made by various members in our community as part of a bi-weekly map-making contest we host on our streams called the Dam Challenge. So right now, this is the winning map, actually. It's called Mountain Elves Refuge, and it was created by Sailor Yugoth. Cosmic Adventures Live is a sci-fi program, so you are also a map-making tool or a developer? That's really interesting. We do have sci-fi, but currently it's user-based, user-supported. So we are primarily fantasy, and our assets do lean into like some steampunk aesthetic, as well as some early Western and even Victorian, but primarily fantasy. So that's that's neither here nor there. That's what we've promised in our development promises, our Kickstarter, etc. But we've added tools such as the Asset Importer, which is a 3D model importer that you can import STL files, FBX files, GLTF/GLB files. So like, for instance, here's a pool table that I imported into the workshop. I just imported it into my local copy, but also shared it. So anybody who imports assets can share them on the Steam Workshop, and anyone can download them and use them in their maps. So there's a subset of our community who upload and create and upload and share sci-fi assets, apocalypse assets, modern assets, all sorts of stuff. So essentially you have the ability to use our tool, which is a very, versatile and, well-fitted tool for map making, but in all sorts of different aesthetics if you choose. Down the road, after we leave early access and have delivered on all our Kickstarter promises, we do plan to offer like different aesthetics outside of fantasy. So imagine like cyberpunk or sci-fi and stuff like that. But that's way down the road. Oh, a podcast? That's cool. So, is it like a tabletop adventure, or is it a kind of like a procedural or something? Like, tell me about this. I'd love to hear more about it. Hey, see you later, Flea. Thank you for being here. For sure. Hop in the Discord if you ever need any help, okay? Oh, for sure, for sure. Welcome to the community, and if you have any questions, please ask away. I would love to hear more about of your podcast, though. Please proceed, unless you have to take off. Disturbed Rick, how are you doing, my friend? I don't know if anyone made a Gangster's Paradise, but we do have Mountain Elves Refuge, so I mean, depending on your type of elves, who knows? This is so cool, the little shops over here. Got us like a general store, or no, this looks like maybe a carpenter. Excuse me, a carpenter. And then an herbalist, alchemist type person, a potion shop. So, can you give me like the elevator pitch of what you cover on your podcast? Is it storytelling? Is it a tabletop game, an adventure? I'm confused exactly. I'm just so intrigued though. I want to know more. Ooh, a little portal over here, it looks like. That's beautiful. I didn't notice that on my first pass. By the way, this is a druid portal, so you could turn it on and add an effect to it to make it. So, pretty much any portal in Dungeon Alchemist or any archway type door can be turned, if it's a blank archway, can be turned into a portal like this here. So you click that, you can make it like an entry point to this. All of these can, actually. Kind of neat. Isn't it neat, Bella? How are you doing? Yeah, it is very easy to make sci-fi maps in Dungeon Alchemist with a little bit of practice. Here, let me show you some, actually, Cosmic. Sci-fi. I'll just search. So there are at least 200 plus sci-fi maps just by searching sci-fi. I'm sure there's many more, but unfortunately not everyone puts sci-fi in their titles or in their descriptions when they're uploading them. You know, they may just put ship or docking station or alien planet or something like that. But there's probably a few more if we look. But as you could see here, like here is a water-based sci-fi platform, kind of Camino looking. You know, I don't really like forcing our creators outside of the fantasy genre for the challenges, mainly because they can still use sci-fi for the challenges if they want to. Like Tin Man here does that almost every challenge. They make a sci-fi version of a map. This one's really cool. Like a sci-fi trade map. Oh, cool. Anyway, it's very possible, just takes a little bit of practice because the majority of the sci-fi based building is done using objects instead of the room tool or, you know what I mean, the other tools. It's primarily just placing objects. Which, I mean, it's kind of like Lego or blocks at the end of the day. I'll consider it, Chim. We do have to come up with a challenge by the end of the... at the... sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. At the end of the stream, before the end of the stream at least, we need to come up with a theme. Love this little area here. It's like a back entrance into the Elven area. Like maybe a secret path or something, or a hidden passage. Cool, so it's kind of it's a tabletop setting. I'm assuming Cosmic Adventures is like a sci-fi tabletop type gaming setting, because I've not heard of that actual... or is that just your actual, like... See, that's the part I'm confused on. But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm a little dense. Probably why I'm the community manager and not the developer, because my brain don't do good. There's other community managers present that are much smarter than me. I will admit that. Brain deficiency. Cool. So you use D&D 5e, but it is a sci-fi based kind of thing, or or is it just Cosmic Adventures and I'm getting looped up in the sci-fi way too much? Either way, it sounds cool. So you kind of have like a Critical Role Dimension 20 type podcast stream setup. Very fun. That's interesting, in fact. I always find it fun and cool, all the neat ways that people love to share, you know, their passions and art and whatnot with other communities. Streaming and podcasting is an interesting medium for the modern era. Like, if you would have told your grandparents that when, like, hey, 80 years from now, 50 years from now, anybody can sit at home and basically have a play where they can invite people from their homes to watch them in their home doing, various activities, playing, games and talking about current events. This is so cool. Jackal. So what you been up to lately, Jackal? Anything cool? In fact, let's ask the entire community watching right now. Have any of you done anything interesting in the last couple weeks? And how is your session prep going and your latest campaign shenanigans? Love it. This is so beautiful in here. Great job. Seriously, Sailor Yugoth. Always putting so much extra detail and attention into your builds. You started making tutorial videos? Nice. How's that going? You're building a god for your party to fight? Cool. Dope. Well, that's meta. It's a painting of what's there. So, Dungeon Alchemist is a map making tool and immersion utility. So you can build maps in a sort of 3D environment, similar to like how you can build in Sims, how you have different angles and whatnot. So it gives you a lot more control over your map making builds. You can also build in just top down, like a flattened top down or a 3D top down or a full 3D. We give you camera tools so you can investigate your maps and record, tours, flybys, little fun loops. You can take screenshots. So maybe, you wanted a beautiful screenshot. Ooh, I didn't notice that little boat in there. But stuff like this is fun to take pictures of and give your players as handouts if they have questions about the environment, or maybe something personalized to their story you want to give them, or maybe they do an investigation check, something's tied to it, whatever. Ultimately, it gives you a way to immerse your players in the maps in a more advanced and in-depth fashion, in a way you really couldn't do before. And that is through their own player's eyes, through first person, or through a cinematic, like drone-like camera. Now, you don't really they don't jump around and play in here. You could stream this to them and they could watch it, or you could record or take screenshots and send it to them, or have it on standby. Now, the maps you create, though, they can export for a variety of different systems, and including virtual tabletops such as Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, Roll20. Bella Muerta is actually the Fantasy Grounds community manager, so love getting the cross-community support. Thank you so much, by the way. Virtual tabletops are a great way to play online or in person with virtual support for like grids, dice rolling, inventory management, HP management, etc. But our maps export fluidly to those systems, including lighting, line of sight, walls, windows, doors, information like that. We offer support for numerous VTTs and universal VTT support if the system uses that particular file format. Our maps can be exported as image files or for print sizes. Video exports as loops, so you can do an animated map or a still image. These can then be used on like TV tabletops, or over Discord, or anything of that manner. So and lastly, you can print the maps or order them for print and delivery through our partner Kraken Wargames, who makes neoprene mats that are game mats with your maps on it that are waterproof, scratch resistant. They'll last like a lifetime, essentially. So if you have a really beautiful map that you use over and over again, like a city, you could get one custom printed. So, Cosmic, you would build a map in Dungeon Alchemist, which gives you a lot of control over the detail and, quality of the map. And then let's say you export to a VTT. There are people in our community that do make maps, as like professionally. Either they have a Patreon or do commission work. That is something that is available. However, it's not something we like allow advertising for, like in our Discord or anything, because it starts to create like a toxic environment, a competitive environment, when it's supposed to be like a positive, supportive environment. So we essentially, while we allow people to do commissions and, seek people out for commissions and whatnot, we just kind of don't really allow advertising for it in our Discord. But yeah, in this stream alone, there's at least 2 or 3 people who offer commission work. Some do like 3D model commissions because you can import custom 3D models. Others do map commissions, or both. We have quite a few Patreon creators in our community, etc. In fact, Rev has, is it Lantern Light Productions? Is that what it is? Your map making? Well, multi-level is possible to a degree right now. There's verticality. Lantern Light Exploration. Sorry, my bad. So as you can see here, like this verticality done with like terrain tools and objects. There is, you know, over here, verticality, where like this house is built at a higher level than these ones below it. There's even like a nice little, like a little river or a, you know, a pit or whatever there. But, and then you can see here stairs going down to like a sub area with train tracks. So this builder, for instance, knows how to do verticality quite well. Multi-level currently is only really available if you are able to manipulate the terrain or stack objects. So you would use the object tool or the terrain tool to get those results. In our next update, which should be launching in the next few months, we'll be adding multi-level through the room tool. Currently, the room tool only generates one level, and it's like without a roof. We did that because originally the intention was just to allow you to get a top-down export, see inside those buildings, and you could block it out on your VTT of choice with like Fog of War or Line of Sight tools. But people want multiple levels, people want roofing, so we ended up implementing that, and it's being built and developed and tested right now. But yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend, if you're not already a member of our Discord, hop in, you know, join our Discord. You can kind of ask questions, get to know our community. Also, maybe link up with Rev or, you know, any other creator who might be able to help you out. Yeah, this map is quite beautiful. Lots of detail to it. Honestly, Yugoth, it's very, very beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing this. How long did it take you to make, my friend? Bella Muerta, that's awesome. Honestly, like tutorial videos, I really like. It's for me, it's a double-edged sword. I love making them for the community, but I hate making videos that are like outdated in a few months. So, or, you know, because the constant state of development Dungeon Alchemist is in, there's like so much things that have changed just in the 2-3 years I've been here. But I, you know, I've remade multiple tutorials several times now. And I'm kind of moving on to a shorter based tutorial series where it's like shorts instead of very long ones. Unless it's like a very specific topic. But most of the stuff that used to take a long time to explain has been kind of fixed and made easier in Dungeon Alchemist. Anyway. Alright, let's move on to the next map. Congratulations again, Sailor Yugoth. 50 hours? Holy cow. So, if I had to wager what our friend Sailor Yugoth did here, is they essentially laid out rooms kind of at, like this here. You see this kind of stonework? That is a room down there that was drawn in a long kind of channel because you can like drape rooms down at lower levels. And then he put an object barrier between them to act kind of like a staircase. But a single block is required between kind of spaces at different heights to generate rooms at different heights. So he generated another room here, but each of these rooms, what he did was he generated them likely without walls. So you can generate a room without objects, without lighting, without walls, windows, doors, or even floors, or generate it with floors. And that's how this marble flooring is present, right? And then the walls and all the pillars and the detail is just objects placed by hand, which is a lot of work. This is oversized freestanding wall, which it's hard to find the collider for it once it's like this, but it's in there somewhere. Hey, Cartographer, how you doing, my friend? Yeah, let's take a look at the whole map, in fact. That's cool, Bella. Ah, gotcha, Cartographer. Hope you're well, my friend. This is impressive, though. The stonework right here. Just all the different room shapes. Like, it's impressive. And it's done within the cave biome, it looks like. Because the cave biome would allow you to kind of, yep, have these, like, solid rock areas in between that you just kind of fill in with, you know, raised cave area. This dark area here is a dead giveaway that it's the cave biome, because that dark area makes line of sight barriers for, like, virtual tabletop exports. Okay, moving on to the next map, which we're just going to go from left to right across, so, and top to bottom. So we've got Hieronymo's map here, which is called Bed in the Land of Plenty. It is quite an insane build, right, Mosey? Hieronymo, as always, providing some kind of interesting, sort of mind-bending concept. Good question, Bella. I know initially when you first kind of mentioned it to me, I brought it up to a few different map makers as an option for them. I do think there was a few of them that were kind of concerned at the time based on some of the verbiage and limitations, and I think that was just you guys kind of maybe working out some of the early whatever aspects of the service, though I haven't like spoken to you in a while about it or know if anything's changed or whatnot, but at least, you know, the people I spoke to back then, that was kind of their primary thing. It definitely has kind of like a dreamscape. Yeah, so Fantasy Grounds has a place where you can post your maps and share them and sell them, similar to like DM's Guild or something of that nature. Just kind of looks like a ship. You can even see like the, what are those things called? The I don't even remember now. Those things with the food in them. What are they called? Anyway, those are, Hey, Davin, how you doing? Welcome back. Look like jet engines or something for it. Kind of has like Little Nemo vibes, or maybe bed knobs and broomsticks vibes a little bit. Cornucopia, that's the word. Sorry, it was on the tip of my tongue there. Thank you. Appreciate that, because it was driving me crazy. Okay, so. Map is simple, to the point. Custom background with the clouds, which is an abstract object allowing essentially to have a very custom, bespoke background for the map, giving it even more personal touch. It does have that little Nemo vibe. All this food in bed seems like it'd be a nightmare. Candy, grapes, meats. Ugh, it'll get sticky and messy really quick. No, this one is, this is the second map we're showcasing. We don't really have a runner-up per se, but the winning map was this one here, Mountain Elves Refuge by Sailor Yugoth. We already showcased that one quite a bit for like the last 30-40 minutes, so we're jumping into new ones now. Fruit-powered engines. Just the way they're placed kind of looks like like it might be like an engine that's just blasting out food, like a junk jet type thing for propulsion. If you'd like, I can drop the link really quick, Davin. Here's the map on Twitch for everyone. I'm gonna hurry and grab that link and post it on YouTube really quick for Davin. Here you go, Davin. Go through. Here you go, my friend. Cosmic, thank you for the follow, by the way. Did not notice that. I apologize. So, Cartographer, what you got going on with the family this weekend, my friend? By the way, quick shout out to Cartographer over on TikTok. He has a Patreon. He's taken a look at it this last week, and quite a good amount of content there. So, unfortunately, I can't share a link on TikTok, but if you were on Twitch, my friend, you could probably drop a link over there, or I'd allow it to be shared. Dreaming of breakfast in bed. That sounds actually okay. It's a very cool map. I like it a lot. Fantastic work on this. Simple, effective, to the point. Bed in the land of plenty. This one is 20 by 20, so not too big. You can see the size here in the corner, also referenced in the title. That's nice. I wonder how long Geronimo put into this. Probably a couple hours at least. The big difficulty here is getting some of these like effects in place. He used clouds to kind of supplement because they're easier to raise than effects. But then there are some effects down there and whatnot. Looks pretty good though overall. Very simple and effective map. Alrighty. Thank you very much for sharing this map, Geronimo. Wherever you are. Up next we have Lord Rev. Yeah. That's what you said? Let's take an overall zoom out of this. Smart, putting your watermark in there in the build. May even get clever. Just like put it over the center like this so it really, really annoys them. Just kidding, don't do that. Most people hate that stuff. Just repeating same watermark over and over again. Make it the entire map. Breakfast in bed. French toast is a good choice, honestly. You know, I'm a big fan of like an eggie in a blanket. It's just like an egg inside of a piece of toast. What else? You like cut out the center and just pour it in it and let it cook there. Cereal's probably a risky choice for sure, Blue Mage. I also enjoy me a breakfast burrito. Like, just eggs and like bacon or sausage and some potato. Birdie in a nest? Interesting. Fantastic. Dominican days. Wow. So is this like a resort? Ooh. Very cool. Is this based off in an actual place, or did you just kind of make it all up? Do you like luxury? Join us for 6 days and 7 nights at the luxurious Dominican Days Resort. Oh my goodness. Hey. Hey, what are you doing? Hey. Puppy time, puppy time, puppy, puppy, puppy time, pup, 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 pup. He's a goops. Seymour, say hi. Say hi, Seymour. Come to rear. Give everyone a kiss. Oh, he's yawning. Yeah, he might have just been napping. Brought him in to say hi. I don't know what he was just. He's a cute boy. He's a goof. But yeah, this is Seymour. Or Ruru is his nickname because, you know, we basically just like name our pets like Pokemon nicknames. So our cat's Meme and our dog is Ruru. But they each have like real names. Obviously Seymour, and then our cat's name is Montrezar. Call him Monty for short. But yeah, this puppy, he's a cute. He's a good. Yeah, welcome to the stream, Mushroom Earrings. See you later, buddy. Get the kitty. I'll get you, kitty right. If we're lucky, maybe the cat will come say hi too. Makes sense, Mosey. I do like the tubs. I wouldn't consider these hot tubs, you know, per se. Nice, Mushroom. Fantastic. Glad to hear it. So, how long have you been using Dungeon Alchemist now? And first off, welcome to the community and the stream. And if you have any questions throughout the stream, my name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. So, I'd love to, you know, address your concerns, you know, take note of your feedback and suggestions, and also provide you with real-time AMA support. So, ask me anything, and I will do my best to guide you, as long as it's Dungeon Alchemist related, of course. The symmetry in this build is really nice. That's the one thing I noted because I go through every build and I kind of take notes. So I wait until every map's been submitted. I don't want to look at a map early because I don't want to build up a bias, right? Or like get, I don't know, like, oh, this is the one, and then kind of have it set in my head. So I wait until all the maps have been entered, and then I go through them one at a time in chronological order of their entry. First entered, first viewed. I give them that kind of courtesy. So going down the list, looking at them, I take notes and kind of mention, you know, like, oh, I like this. Ooh, I like that. Really enjoyed that. Interesting choice there. Honestly, Very fun build. You really kind of like killed it with symmetry. Yeah, the bar looks fun. The swim up bars look very fun. There are likely some steampunk kind of esque builds. However, they're likely more named around steampunk settings instead of actually just steampunk themselves. Because a lot of creators will have a name for the map instead of typing what it's themed around. You may want to search like Eberron. That can probably find some more steampunk themed maps. I also, yeah, love the beach area here. Though I was kind of bummed at the lack of, ocean. But I do understand why you didn't just go all water around here because it's so big map. It's a big map already, so it would have added a lot to it. But yeah, try Eberron or maybe like, that is a good question. I would probably start theming it around steampunk settings more than, steampunk itself. I understand exactly why you did it. Very, very good map, though, my friend. I like these, like, pergolas here. And the sun chairs. Like, these are a little bit nicer rooms, and they've got their own private yakuza. Let's see here. Thank you so much. You were too kind. I've been playing the game for about a week now, and I think with the update Fun with Objects, all my problems will be absolutely resolved. Thank you again for the warm welcome. Watching from Italy, so please pardon any of my English mistakes. Well, hello. Hello, and I'm glad that you're watching from Italy. That's fantastic, and I appreciate you putting in your best effort. Your English is phenomenal, so I think you're doing great. Keep it up. Sam's a lot over on TikTok asks, what are the options for minis? What do you mean by what minis are included? Or what options are there to add more? I will assume you mean like what minis are included. So by default, under the token tab here, you have a bunch of minis that are built in through pretty much any of them that don't have this icon on it should be included in Dungeon Alchemist for free. Additionally, every update we release, we have more tokens we add through our partner Bite the Bullet. They make and add tokens that are themed for the update. We started this partnership with them through our last update, the Magic update, so another bunch of tokens will be imported then. You have Hero Forge support. We have a partnership with Hero Forge where you can create a token on the Hero Forge, tool set and then import it to Dungeon Alchemist. Or you can purchase tokens through their token packs on Hero Forge and import them. I've actually made a couple of tokens custom on Hero Forge and brought them over. And then last but not least, you can actually import tokens through our asset importer here. The asset importer under the Steam Workshop tab is a 3D model importer. So if you have the ability to sculpt or craft 3D models or source them or purchase them online, let's say you support a Patreon and get 3D models every month, you could just import them through the asset importer and keep them in your local collection, which will show up here under the downloaded tokens tab. So like this is a token I uploaded to the workshop, these three actually. These are our mascot, Hendrik, of the Pits, who is kind of like our brand mascot. Anyway, so essentially, you have the ability to import tokens, and then lastly, you can supplement that through the asset browser, which has hundreds of tokens, nearly 1,000 last I checked. So there's 459 just under monsters. Let's check characters, 135. And 235 under just NPCs. So like about 1,000, 900 to 800 to 1,000 there. that you can look through and download. Some are modern, some are sci-fi, some are cyberpunk, some are just like flat gray, which are actually kind of neat. When you do like a flat gray token, I'll download one and place it for you. See you later, Davin. So this token, kind of large here, but we can place it and then resize it. And then when they are a gray token, you can actually set a color to them from these just pre-configured. So these could be like statuses, or you could have a lot of like generic soldiers and give them all color. And tokens, you can press the eyeball icon on them and walk around in first person from the perspective of the token. Nice use of the skybox, my friend. Rev really, really encapsulates the kind of nature of the build. My only critique on this, if you're interested in hearing it, I wish there was more green. Like, when I think of a tropical resort, like, I just think there's going to be trees and bushes and flowers, like, everywhere. You do have some spaces for it, but it seems like it's outside of the resort and very little of it inside the resort. So, I don't know. Maybe just a bit more green to break up, like, these bright, repeating spots. And the tile in a few places. Planters and, you know, just stuff like that. You do have them in a few key places. It's very helpful. I just think something to that design could help a little bit, you know, in these other places. Especially where it's like a big concrete swath like this, or a cobblestone swath. And honestly, that's just a personal preference in building. That says nothing about your, like, build style at all. Like, that was the only critique I could even find, is that. You did such a great job on this map. Like, I'm sure just designing all these rooms took forever. Because each one of them is, like, perfectly matching. Heck, even a plant in the rooms, just kind of more green. You know what I mean? Just a little bit more. Little bit of ivy here and there growing down some stuff, and the pool area would be neat. I don't know. Little things like that can make a big, big difference in, like, breaking up the monotony. That's all. And that's mostly our fault too, because our patterns on, like, flooring repeat pretty quickly. Yeah, Sam, so our stock library is like over 6,500 assets between all the objects, the doors, windows, walls, floors, and then you also have the tokens, which there's quite a few just built in, and then the ones on the workshop add a ton. And then at the end of the day, you can import any tokens you want. The workshop support doesn't just support tokens, though, it's other assets. So there's a huge token library, but there's tons of, like, assets that are, you know, people imported because they wanted that in their builds specifically. So custom assets. Some are sci-fi, some are, you know, fantasy, some are cyberpunk. So they really bridge the gap and allow you to, you know, kind of add things that aren't stock in our builds or available in our builds yet. Are you guys making fun of me? I can't tell. Chim. For someone whose name has repetition in it, Chim Chim Chiru, typically, you know. Okay, I'll say monotony this next time instead of the R word. Alrighty. Let's move on to another map. We already did this one, and this one. Let's move on to this one. At the moment, copying pasting of rooms is not possible, or groupings of objects or anything like that. You can copy a single object and paste it, you know, en masse. So if you select an object, if you hold shift when you're placing it, it will automatically duplicate the object. You just have to make sure it'll fit in that space. So here I'll disable collisions. Then I can just start stacking these all over the place. Our next update will include several features to speed up object placement, including allowing you to take any object and turning it into an object brush. Currently, you can only use the current brush set of objects, which is kind of a limited palette, but the next update will allow you to take objects, even ones you've downloaded from the workshop, and then print and, you know, paste them in mass. So when you use an object brush, it allows you to save a ton of time to, you know, paint objects to like quickly add them to your builds. These rocks aren't really a great fit, but you get the idea. So, Sam, unfortunately, Dungeon Alchemist isn't really for playing games. It's meant for making maps and using it to, you know, grab shots, clips, and like screenshots of your maps to use as like handouts or immersion, clips, flyovers, or like walkthroughs, etc. So it is a map making and an immersion utility. The maps you make in this tool, you export them to use for your play system of choice. So let's say you play in person. So you could export your maps for print or as a looped video or a still image, which those could play on like a TV tabletop or a projector tabletop. If you play online with your friends, you can export your map for virtual tabletops such as Fantasy Grounds, Roll20, Foundry, Above VTT. These are tools that allow you to play online with your players in a sort of video game-like format. So our maps export seamlessly to those systems, include all the lighting data, the wall data, the windows, doors, and then that feeds into those tools and gives you like fog of war and line of sight information for the maps. And you can also just export for print. So if you just wanted to get it printed at a print shop or on your local home printer, you can do that. So, Giuseppe, you can actually place rooms on any height now. I'll just show you. Now, Sam, there is a kind of guest mode, a player mode on Steam, where you can invite a friend to like share access to a game that you have on Steam. So your player could technically like help you build a map or explore the map in first person. You could just tell them, you know, you only have access to this token, so just walk around as the token. But you could even stream this view to your players in first person over Discord or Zoom or whatever, Skype. Okay, so let me show you how to build rooms at different heights. Giuseppe. When you're creating a new map, all this is indicative of anymore is where the default room height is. You can build at any height now, so that doesn't matter. It just kind of sets the default. So when you're generating a room, before you click this, I know it's very fun to just click it right away. Notice these arrows here? You can rotate the room, so you can rotate it off the grid axis, right? You can raise and lower the room, so you could sink it into the ground, so an underground building, or like, you know, it's just got dirt all around it, or you can raise it up so it's like it's on a cliff facing. You can have buildings all at different heights, so one could be down on the ground level, one could be raised up. Let me show you this. So here's one that just kind of raised itself up. Rooms, by the way, you see these little dots in the corner, you can pull them, and you can make weird angles and shapes of rooms, so you can have round and diagonal walls. If the room shape itself is actually perfectly divisible, so let's say it's like an 8x8 or a 10x10, perfectly divisible means equally divisible, i.e. you're not splitting a square anywhere when you're dividing it. it can be turned into a round structure. So you can grab those dots and pull them into the center and make a round room, or even have like a solid diagonal face on it. And then this can be raised or lowered and then generated. So Giuseppe, it's quite possible to, raise and lower rooms and generate all sorts of different shapes now. You just need to do it preemptively before you click generate. By the way, you can move this too on the map. So before you generate the structure, you can actually move it around on the map. So a while ago, a long time ago, that height you choose in the map here, that was the determining height for all the buildings on your map, right? That's old school DA. That hasn't been that way for almost a year now. Or longer actually. And so now you can raise and lower rooms, but keep in mind, this only works for the first level. You can't do multi-level yet with the room generation tool, though our next update will add that. So after the next update, you'll be able to generate a room on top of this room or a room under this room, etc. And if you'd like, I can show you that. Here is like an example of a multi-level structure. If the clip decides to play. Weird. Okay. Let's try that again. There we go. Yeah, I've been begging the devs to make some updates to the export menu and the map generation menu. Also, the tutorial in DA needs some updates because it's missing some crucial information. But our next update's going to be allowing you so much versatility in your room generation. This is very early alpha footage, by the way, so you can do like ladders and stairs and transitional spaces between the rooms. That's a good suggestion, actually. We need to come up with a theme, and April Fools could be a fun one. Sometimes we theme them around holidays. Sometimes we theme them around updates. Our last two themes, one was Paradise, and then the one before that was Hellscape. So, be interesting to kind of consider April Fools. That being said, let's see when the date ends up. So, we would actually happen just after April Fools, which is kind of a bummer, because then if anyone wanted to use them for their April Fools campaigns, they likely, would miss out on a few of the maps submitted before the 4th. Because the submission window is between now and the 4th of April. Dang, so close, though. Huh, that is a good suggestion. We could, yeah, it also, it is kind of hard to encapsulate, April Fools as a build theme, short of, I don't know. I try to leave the themes as open-ended as possible, so our creator community kind of can take it as whatever they want. It's very interpretive. But, that being said, we should, leave the floor open to suggestions for themes. So, our last two themes were Paradise and Hellscape. April Flowers, interesting. Trap. So, Rick, if you wanted to use that as your idea for a map in a theme we pick, that'd be great. But if we pick, Mimic, probably everyone's going to do something along those lines, right? So you'd probably want to wait until we have a theme that's Trap, where it could be a Mimic. Does that make sense? So, I like that idea, but I think that something like that is a powerful map idea to keep to yourself. Secrets. Interesting. I usually do 1 to 2 words that are very, insightful, impactful, have a lot of, emotional draw and, ideas tied to them. Folktale. Interesting suggestion, Jackal. I like that one a lot. We got a few that are interested in secrets, a couple now. By the way, Sam's a lot over on TikTok. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Be glad to assist. Do you play D&D or anything like that? Do you play Pathfinder or any tabletop games currently? Secret Trap? Nerds. Not every time does the theme require merging, my friend. Whoa, TikTok. Thank you for the likes. Did not realize we had over 2,500 likes. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for the love. Wow. And Mushroom Earrings, I'm sorry I didn't notice you dropped a follow earlier. Thank you so much for that follow, and welcome to the Damn Fam. Nice, Giuseppe. Honestly, I'm glad Dungeon Alchemist has helped, helped you in any way. Every DM's got a little bit different style, right? You're all kind of world weavers, and you've got a bit of production and storytelling, all of these things kind of in one, right? And I think it's important to, have a good set of tools to help you accomplish your goals in the, time frame you have for yourself. Dungeon Alchemist is a great tool for the tool belt or the toolbox, so to speak, that really can help you speed up your map making and improve, quality, and give you a lot of time as well to focus on other aspects of your storytelling. That'd be really cool, Rick. Be very cool. By the way, Giuseppe, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. That's what these streams are for, my friend. I'm glad you asked. You learned something new today, right? Okay, let's go back into those maps we were looking at. Go back into Lalandra's. Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel. Through the mountains. It's been a while since I've heard that song. Maze is an interesting one. It's kind of tight focused, though, because everyone's going to be building a maze, right? We could do something along the lines of... I don't know. Maze is a good theme, though. It is an interesting concept. You play D&D and you're introducing your brother-in-law and girlfriend to it? That sounds like fun. That's really cool. So do you plan to play in person, or are you going to play online with them? Like, what's your plans for the campaign? It is a beautiful map. Lilandra really did a good job here. Oh, for sure. There wouldn't be like any two mazes. I guess, it's cool. We'd get a lot of mazes out of it. Maze could be a good theme. Here's the thing. Mazes aren't necessarily an easy thing to make. They are kind of tricky. So if we do that as a group, I'm just kind of worried that we may not get a whole heap of entries. And I would encourage everyone, if you're going to be doing a maze, use a tracing tool, maybe have a maze that you draw out or find online. Hey, see you later, Giuseppe. Testo, that's a good question. Do you think you'll ever include a Fog of War option for those who plan to use Dungeon Alchemist as a partial VTT? So Dungeon Alchemist itself was really never intended to be a gameplay tool, though that doesn't stop our community to, from using it for like in-person or TV tabletop based stuff, even some limited online play. We've got the grid, the ability to kind of hide the UI, which kind of lends to gameplay as well. As far as like Fog of War stuff is concerned, I don't see us doing that anytime soon, at least until we leave early access. Once we leave early access, there's talk about, a VTT Lite, either supported within Dungeon Alchemist or a standalone utility that works, really well with Dungeon Alchemist. That would be, something on the horizon. I'm guessing a couple years out, minimum. Nice, Mondu. We're cross country, so over Discord, nice. You may even want to consider using a virtual tabletop if you haven't heard of those before. There's tools out there called virtual tabletops, and our maps export to them fluidly and flawlessly. And so Tabletop Sim and Dungeon Alchemist aren't compatible in a 3D fashion. In fact, we offer no true 3D exports. At the end of the day, your maps export as a top-down. They can be exported as a flattened top-down or like a 3D perspective that gives it kind of a pop. These maps export for, say, Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, Roll20, Above VTT, a bunch of universal VTT tools, Encounter Plus, Harpy, and a few others. Image only, print, video export, etc. So you could, play over Discord. You could play over, Tabletop Sim could work as long as you just export an image, right? Or a video. And I know there's people in our community, I believe, is it Mondu? Do you use Tabletop Sim for your game, Mondu? I believe it's Mondu that does it. I can't 100% remember, though. Can you confirm that, Mondu? Do you use Tabletop Sim for your games? So Mondu in our Twitch chat says, as long as your image isn't above 10K pixels on any side, it works fine for Tabletop Sim as an image. Cave Beast, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Lilandra, this map is a trip. There's a lot of activity going on and the motion and stuff. I got a little car sick the first time I went through it. It felt like. Did I notice where people are set to play Pathfinder? You have a little game going and I didn't notice? Wait, what? You got your gates to hell again, though, for sure. That. Give me a moment. Okay, game room, game room, game room, game room, game room, game room. This it right here? There it is. Oh, I see it. Ah, you got the DM screen and everything. Too funny. How meta. I did not notice the tokens on here before. Nice, Cave Beast. Ah, gotcha. That's very cool. The sheets, I can see it, the Pathfinder sheets. Too funny. Very cool. So, I believe it's Sack in our community. He says his players have an in-game game they play that's like banknotes and something or something. It's like a boring accounting game where they are IRL people. Big thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Is this a portal room? Kind of figured it was just based on the look. Nice. And all the images to different areas. offices and bosses. It was kind of like that. I think his is like, anyway, it's a boring kind of thing like that where you just are banking and doing like accounting stuff. It's really just like really a boring game they play in game, that it's like their players are meta and actually interact with our world like we interact with a fantasy world. I don't know. There's a layer of complexity that's like with that where you are meta that you are a player in another world, and then meta that that player is in another world. It adds some depth. It's fun. No, I'm not calling you boring. I'm saying when you're playing D&D, relatively, it's probably a much more boring thing to be doing, right? Half ogre, for real, bro. Houses and humans. Businesses and banknotes or something is what it was called. I don't know. You're just giving me that good grief, Charlie Brown style. That's my pool table, by the way. Well, Mrs. Mac made that, and then I uploaded it. Okay, here, real talk, okay? If you could have just one cantrip in real life, what would it be and why? I pick guidance because honestly, like it would be nice to be able to guidance my life sometimes. You know, you're at the car dealership negotiating a good rate, guidance it. You're you know, mending is good, yeah, for sure. I think prestidigitation would be pretty powerful too. The problem is mending is kind of limited in its like repair scope of what it can and cannot repair. Friends. Like by the time it wears off, they won't remember. I'll be long gone. I do think prestidigitation has a lot of practical application, like heating and cooling things, cleaning things, making things taste better. So like you could run like a restaurant, like a 5-star restaurant where everything just tastes amazing, but it looks like whatever. No, I haven't. But that's something I should look into. I honestly, like, most of the time I end up fixing my own things, but I definitely don't think I could fix my own jewelry or shoes. I don't know. I think being able to guidance yourself in, like, in everyday situations. You're going in for a raise, your annual review with your boss. Get some guidance on there so you could potentially ace that. Get a review. $80 to get a zipper replaced in a boot? Holy cow. What does Days do, Cave Beast? Remind me. Need to buy more thread, Mondu? Do it. I really love the attention to detail in all the rooms, Lalandra. You did a lot of really great work in this map. Little tea room, the library. Mage Hand would be convenient. Honestly, it's like instead of, you know, using a ladder, you could just reach up and grab something. You're like Mr. Incredible, you know? Or you maybe there's something behind the shelf. You can mage hand around and grab it. Ark? That's too funny, Ark. Like, they'd just be averaging good enough to be like a reasonable baseball team? Let's place a token and look out the window, shall we? I love the tile work, by the way, Lalandra. Feel like I'm in Stargate Atlantis. I feel like Vicious Mockery is like one of the only like real world cantrips that already exist, if you think about it. Like, you could literally just be really good at like dogging on people and be really good at just Vicious Mockery, because I'm sure like yeah, the tile work's impressive. I like the game room for sure. Nice. I'm surprised I didn't notice this the first time around. I just thought it was like I guess it was a game room, but I didn't realize there was Pathfinder in here. Too funny. That's I've seen that a few times in maps. I like it. It's very fun. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. So, Lalandra uses the room tool to make all these interesting shapes with the floor. So these are technically separate rooms. This star is a room, this little area is a room, but they just don't have walls, if I'm not mistaken. I think the theme we that was most agreed on was, what was it? I can't remember now. Of course, Blue Mage. Have you never put like a small room inside of a big room, like a room in the corner of the room, or like a closet? Man, what was the theme? We had a couple. Folktale was one, but there was a Secret was the one that got the most votes, I think. I think Secret was the one that got the most votes so far. So unless anyone has any objections, we'll probably do Secret. Let's see here. So we're going to open a new map to show how you could draw a room within a room. Trickery? Huh. Okay. So let's start with like a 12 by 12 room, right? First and foremost, if you hold the control button when you're in the room draw tool, you can actually erase portions of the room. So you could have like, you know, an interesting, weird kind of shape. You can do things like this to, you know, obviously make it round. Let's fill this back in, actually. And we'll make that a 4 by 4 in the very center. And this is all before I've even generated the room. I made it a donut. Now, inside of these rooms, you can make other portions of rooms. Heck, even in the center, if I wanted to, I could make this a room. Sadly, yeah, it requires affiliate status to be able to make polls. Some of these little room shapes are a little tricky to get just right. So you may just have to kind of do them by hand. But you could always have like little rooms within rooms and areas within areas. But the benefit of us not being affiliated, which I'm sure y'all probably appreciate the fact that this channel doesn't get hit with non-Dungeon Alchemist related ads. Like this whole stream, you haven't been bombarded with Twitch ads, right? I did answer it. I'm kind of showing him how it was done now. So our friend here did stuff like this, right? Little shapes like that in the room where it's be a different tiling. So if I had generated this, but without a wall, for instance, and let's do a different room type. Any type of different place will make a different floor. But once it's a separate room, you could put any flooring you want there. So that's how our friend Lilandra was making custom tiling in the room with like unique shapes by having there being different rooms within the room. Does that make sense? They're stock. There's no way to put in other floors into the Dungeon Alchemist floors. So yeah, these are just the tiles that she was using, like these. Or marble. Let's put purple in the center room here. And then, if we really wanted to, we could, you know, put some white tile there in the center. But because she made each space a separate room, it has much more detail to it. Does that make sense? So we could technically take the room tool, right? Draw us a little 2x2. Let's make this a star in the center. Generate it. Then we use this. Just have a separate color of tile in there. If you, I mean, and we could do a circle here. We could do all sorts of different shapes. But you get what we're going for, right? Yeah, they've been in Dungeon Alchemist for probably 2-3 updates. When was the last time you looked at the floor tool and all the random floors? The thing about the floor tool is it's a much more expansive palette than what is generated in all the rooms. So, like, some of the floors in the floor tool aren't available in the room generation. Because more of the room generation stuff is more generic. Though, if you go across all the varied, like, room types, you're bound to run into a lot of different floors. But some of the rooms generate more other floors more exceedingly. So like if you're in a wizard tower, it may generate certain floors more than others. That's why I like going into the floor tool after the fact, looking at the options available. Put a pile of coins right there. Tiles, oh man, we've had tile for a while. Brain Bomb, the only info we have right now is that we plan to launch the update Q2 2025. So sometime, you know, between April and June, most likely. So, Dadinator, yes and no. DA has, like, ships already in it. Oh, oops. Let me go to the object menu and not type in caps. So there's, like, a bunch of boats and ships. Hold on. That you can kind of play with, or you can download some from the workshop. So there's like these galleons and airships and other stuff that you can download from our workshop repository that have been shared by users in our community. Additionally, there has been boats and like multi-story boats and ships made using the object menu, because you can kind of stack objects on top of each other to build custom ships. So there's sci-fi ships here, there is astral ships, water ships, airships, all sorts of different stuff in this menu that you can download and add to your map relatively easy. Be careful when you download maps from the assets from the workshop. Make sure they're kind of small. Like this one's 63 megabytes. I probably wouldn't recommend that one. This one's 2.5 megabytes, much smaller. Now, if you want to build a ship, there's great examples of maps that have ships that are built. Let's search ship or boat, see what we can find. So users in our community will like scale up an object boat and then build like a galleon from scratch. There's quite a few here. This one is actually the floor 1 of this boat, and this one's floor 2. So you have a subfloor and an above floor in 2 separate maps, which is a great way to approach it. Other creators will often build multiple floors on a single map. So, I mean, Spelljammer ships are kind of abstract. You know, they're like really, really out there. Hey, Mateus. How you doing? We have an update planned for shipbuilding down the road called High Seas. So we have several major updates along our roadmap that are planned. Our next major update release is called Fun with Objects. After that, in no given order, we have Tricks and Traps, let's see, Water Worlds, High Seas, and Instant Dungeons. So those are the remaining major updates on our roadmap. But High Seas will have a ship builder in it that we're going to call the Shipyard, and it'll allow you to kind of snap ships together that are custom, and there'll be tons of objects to build all sorts of different ships. We're only in the early alpha testing of that now, and an early version of it will likely be released in the next update for you to kind of play around with, but at the same time, it will be very limited in scope. You can kind of see it in some of the teaser footage we've been posting, like this clip here showing these like invisible spotlights that we'll be adding called abstract lights, shows a ship in the background that was made using the shipbuilder. So they will have galleons at least in the first, kind of like wooden traditional water ships in the first iteration. I'm hoping with time we get airships and astral ships, which I don't think will have anything that is a direct ripoff of a Spelljammer. We'll likely have something that is a copyright safe astral ship of some sort. You know what I mean? So there'll likely be some sort of copyright safe option unless somebody in our community chooses to upload a Spelljammer looking ship. And I'll be honest with you, on the workshop already, there are quite a few ships that would pass for something from Spelljammer. Like this is a living ship. I mean, that would easily work in Spelljammer, right? Here's a Namekian ship. That's interesting. Did not notice that was there. Let's see. Let's just type Spelljammer, see what we find. None there. Let's try it with a space. Was hoping someone might have put up some ships. Looks like nope. And then let's look at the map browser. A lot of times, if you don't know the exact name of the ship they put up or the asset they uploaded, it might be difficult to find and know what you're looking at. So not a whole lot of Spelljammer map-made content on our workshop at the moment. Star Moth, Bombard, Nautiloid, but these ones definitely don't look quite like, you would expect a typical Spelljammer ship. They're taking liberties and using their creative world-building imagination as they can as world weavers. But like this ship is a great example of a multi-level ship on the same map. You've got the wheel, you've got the captain's quarters, the back boat, the top deck, below deck, multiple levels, all on the same map, so you can interact with different spaces. Let's go back to workshop. Did we pick a theme then? What ships? I do feel like those challenging themes kind of deter people from entering. The ones that are very hand-built, you know what I mean? I think a more generic theme that has a more open-ended answer as to how you can interpret the map being seen and made usually allows the creator to make a map that they can use in their own campaigns and can flex their creativity a little bit more. Uh-oh. Oh, TA's just crashing as well. We'll just wait. Anytime Dungeon Alchemist gives you guff through Windows, if it's saying it's taking forever to load, just click wait and wait. DA, especially larger maps with tons of assets, they have to preload into your RAM before they load fully, and it takes a moment sometimes. See? Just a couple, like an extra minute, for me at least. I'm open to doing secret or maze. Both of those were kind of both positively received. So the brain bomb. If you're still here as of right now, I mean, I can show you some teasers from the next update and we can kind of answer questions related to it, but I don't have a specific launch date or a week or even like a month at this point. We're really just kind of aiming for a quarter, and it is subject to change. But it'll likely be Q2. Let's everyone right now, we're trying to pick a theme for the next map making contest. The damn challenge over the next 2 weeks between now and the 4th is how long you have to enter. So if we pick a theme as a group that we can all kind of agree on, or at least kind of vote and decide that one's the one that gets the most support, you can make a map using that theme as inspiration and submit it for a chance to win a $10 Hero Forge gift card. Oh my. Oh my. Last time I loaded this one, it did not get this bad. Am I on medium right now? I'm probably on low. Wow. Don't know what it is. We'll just stay zoomed in here. Jim, your map is causing a bit of lag today. I was looking at it yesterday. It did not have a problem. Let me just close a couple other things. Okay. Freed up a bit of RAM there. That ought to help. Okay. Well, I think we should do maze. Oh, wow. Yeah, the forced perspective. Looks good. So this is just like a sky island, or is this like a huge mountain? That's very cool. Castle in the sky? Yeah, it does kind of have that vibe for sure. Because you have this forced perspective of a ground below, you know, you see these fields and trees, and then you're up in the clouds here. There's imagery of clouds with it. It really lends to the fact that you're either way up high on like a floating island, especially where you can see through to it. Oh, wonderful, Stormy. How are you? Welcome back. Finish your session? How was it? I really like all these like verticality details. Man, those apples in the tree, pears in the tree, all the fruit in the trees probably was a pain to set up, huh? It's like a crystal. Like a gem. And I'm glad you learned from it, Chim. Looks very good. You did a great job. Very great job. Crystal Throne, nice. So it's just kind of like a lacrima shard that maybe is the arcane energy that keeps this island in the sky floating. Very cool. It's My Little Pony, basically. Nice. Very cool. How long did you put into this one, Chim? Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cherry. Hey, see you later, half ogre. You have a good one, my friend. Let's make it night. Ooh. Like it. I like it a lot. Okay. We have got 16 hours. Wow. We've got one map left and about 8 minutes. So I'm going to chill out in this one for another minute or two and then we'll jump over. I like the Pegasi just all around enjoying themselves. Kind of get this vibe that this used to be more of like maintained and beautiful, maybe even a kingdom. And then it like maybe fell or into ruin and the Pegasi have just kind of taken over here. I appreciate you putting the accompanying videos with them. It's kind of fun. OBS is a good tool. Mainly when you're recording with OBS, one big difference is instead of the internal tools where you're loading Dungeon Alchemist twice, right? It's an external capture tool. But just make sure you like hide the UI when you use it. But the only downside is you kind of have limited camera tools like the build camera instead of the cinematic or first person camera. So it's kind of limited in what you can shoot and what angles you can get at. But at the same time, it has higher bit rate and frames per second and quality overall. Very cool. Very cool, Chim. Wardian? Oh my gosh. Your sister's a Pegasi? Next map is The Emperor's New Grove by Blue Mage. Just kidding. It's Emperor's Grove. I just, you know, had to play with that little play on words there. Ooh. Half sister. Jim, I always love your maps. Honestly, the verticality in your map is the part that really struck me as the most interesting part. And I'm sorry I was having trouble loading it today. I guess with all my stream software loading, it's a little bit different than when I was looking at it privately last night. But, like I said, like all the little details throughout the map, all the different heights and ladders and, you know, towers and stuff, lots of fun. Thank you for making it and sharing it. And honestly, great work on nailing the Sky Island. If I didn't say that already. So here we have the Emperor's Grove, which it looks like you can portal into this place. I think you did pretty good overall, Chim. How long did you put into it, you said? 16 hours? That's not bad at all. So this gives the sort of like... what is the place that the Iron Fist can go to? It's like a secret like place they can portal to, and it's like a beautiful kind of other realm. Or like Kunlun. Yeah, that's it. Yep, it reminds me a lot of Kunlun. It definitely gave that vibe. It's just some kind of secreted away area that no one can really get to or knows where it is. Only way in is through a portal. It's kind of the vibe I was getting from it. This sword is important. Come check it out. Have I ever shown you all my swords? Yeah, I'm a bit of a weeb. Got a few swords. But they're not like the mall swords. They're legit swords. Ooh, that's cool. I didn't notice the stone last time around. Very cool. And great use of the sandstone to get the custom colors. Right? So this is just a sandstone pillar, but sandstone is one of the few rocks that you can change the color. I'm not sure why they chose this, but when you place a sandstone rock, a lot of them have this color swapping option, so you can make them, ice or like it's been snowed on or anything in between. All sorts of different colors. Wardian, I'm your parents are the shocking part here, really. That's the confusing part. Also, I'm kind of wondering, do they come out kind of like a centaur? Like half goblin, half horse? Or more like a minotaur? Like... Lublin, ask away, ask away. These streams are AMA format, so you can ask me anything you want as long as it's, Dungeon Alchemist or tabletop gaming related. By the way, welcome to the stream. I love this. A lot of detail. Yeah, this is like just super GM-ville here. Everyone here, for the most part, is a DM and a GM. So, like, it's a great place to bounce ideas off people. Whoa. Nice scaling. It makes it feel so much, like, more epic when you're in token mode. The bamboo feels large and ancient. The shrines and temples. Holy cow, that fox is terrifyingly big. It is fun to walk through in first person because you get this unique experience of the map that you wouldn't normally have. Jeez, that cat would hunt me. That's terrifying. As a kobold, I'd be worried. Very cool. Fantastic work on this, Blue Mage. How long do you think you put into the map? So during the pandemic, I used to play like a lot of Flight Sim or The Hunter, Call of the Wild, because it would allow me to get out and see things when we couldn't really do any traveling or go anywhere or do much, go hiking or anything. So I'd like, in the hunting game, I wouldn't hunt. I'd just put my rifle away and hike around like a sim. Just go explore and look around at the wildlife with my binoculars. Or and it had tents that you could set up and camp, so we'd just simulate like we were camping on stream. It was really dorky, and people thought it was funny. RP camping. So other stuff that I would do is do flight sim, right? Because it would be so boring to not be able to leave my house for months on end. So flight sim was a fun way to like get out of the house, and we'd like go fly through the Grand Canyon on stream, or anyway, those yesteryear streams. Okay, so you're prepping a one shot for your friends. It's goblins. I have encounters A, B, C, D, E. A, B are forest encounters, D, E are in dungeon, but I want to run these goblins as cunning. I mean, monsters are smart, right? But monsters aren't necessarily all tacticians or mages or things like that, so they may not have the best understanding of like battle tactics or say, you know, spell casting abilities, like who, you know, what they might be casting, but they can recognize a spell. They recognize, you know, when there's a fight or a threat, and some of them are very skillful with weapons. So I'm looking at your encounter count. First off, are you sure this isn't going to roll into a 2-shot? Because you've got 5 encounters, and is this the first time the players are playing together? Are they all new players? Are they experienced players? Well, depending on how you group your goblins, you may even want to just do grouped actions where they like are essentially going all on a single turn instead of separate turns. They're experienced players. So group actions might also be a good idea too, because you'll be hitting them with massive numbers. You know what I mean? So if they have experience and are like know how to min-max and meta without even trying, and you know, what level are you starting them at in the one shot? That makes a lot of difference too. So it's the collider on this bridge, right? So the collider for this bridge, or maybe this here. So when this asset was shared on the workshop, the person who put it on the workshop, it just has like probably a collider that is essentially just a box all the way around this. So it's blocking you when you get to here. Even with collisions off, what I wish is when you turn collisions off, then your token reacted to that and would go through things. It would just be a nice improvement, so you could not worry about those things. So the creator who uploaded this could have done 3 colliders, like a pillar collider, a square pillar, or a rounded one, and then a square on top, and then you could pass through it. So like when you are uploading assets to the workshop as a creator, you're given options on how you upload it to the workshop and how Dungeon Alchemist will interact with it and tokens and other things. So let me give you an example here of a couple different ones, okay? Let's see here. I'm trying to decide which one I want to share. Okay, let's look at, say, this wooden spike barricade, right? You would think that realistically it's just this shape is what is you would interact with as a token. But in digital spaces, 3D spaces, you have to kind of represent objects with invisible boxes called colliders. So technically, for this object, it is like the whole space it takes up is this big box, that green box around it. I could maybe make it a little bit smaller and maybe make it allow it to things to pass under or over it if I put a bunch of colliders together, which, depending on how you organize an object with colliders, it can make it more interactable. Like, for instance, the collider on this roof, we don't have like a conical collider, but we do have spheres and rings. I did a ring because then the top is open and I could put a token over the top inside, which allows me to get a token inside of it and wander around. Had it been a solid, say, instead of a ring, had it been the whole, like, solid, the cylinder. The cylinder collider would be solid piece of, like, circle all the way up. So there's no way to put anything inside of it. A basket has a bottom, so my token wouldn't be able to go through the holes in the floor underneath the roof or in the floors beneath it. So the type of collider you assign to an object, or if you do a collider at all, can make it interesting in how things interact with it. But if it doesn't have a collider, you can't move it after the initial thing. You can't grab it again, so it becomes broken. So ultimately, these invisible, like, colliders can make a lot of difference in how tokens interact with objects. And I'd imagine that it's just like a big wall in the way that's an invisible wall that we can't see, but is part of that object's collider causing the problem there. So essentially, we'd have to upload that, like, either the bridge or whatever it is, I'm assuming it's this that's causing it right here. The gate as a new object, and it would likely allow you to pass over. If we, like, left a gap at the bottom of the gate, like a cutout section, you could potentially walk through. Alrighty, so it is 10 past the hour now. It is time to wrap it up, unfortunately. So let's offer Lublin any last moment advice we can for their session. I mean, realistically, how big is the group? What are their levels? Their levels and stuff can determine how many goblins you want. I think overwhelming them with action economy will keep them on their toes, or running the attacks as group actions. Because a single hit will be much heavier than a goblin can do if it's a group, like, attack, a group action of goblins, right? So maybe split them off into hordes of, like, 4 or 5, like little mini squads, and they attack as groups. The 4 people, 5 levels. I would even run it up to 20 with their experience. The big thing going for you is the goblins as action economy, and the big thing going for them is their battle tactics and, like, metagaming, right? Think about it. You want it to be difficult, right? Bring that CR just up a little bit more. I don't know. The thing about when you're fighting large groups, the players can get quickly overwhelmed if they're not using AoE or putting these groups down quick, right? So I think them using their action economy to their advantage as a group will help them get through this, but they need to act quick before they get overwhelmed. And you could have, say, a group of goblins that is the front group, maybe 10 in the front, right? Down here. I'm going to draw this out like football style. So we have a group of goblins down here, 10, right? And then behind you have 2 smaller groups of 5. And then these can act as, reinforcements or range attacks, stuff like that. And your players may not even see the rear group at first because they could be behind cover, or the commotion could draw them in. A horn could be signaled or something like that. Why not putting, the Azulas on the end there, Wardian? You're gonna go all out, right? Not fire ants. Let's put some bullet ants, my friend. Let's make that whip really crack. It is time to wrap up the stream, unfortunately. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you all, showcasing all these amazing entries from the Dam Challenge. Thank you to everyone that participated in the Dam Challenge with these beautiful entries. Remember, our theme is maze for the upcoming challenge, so I'm going to put that in there really quickly for y'all. Stand by. And I will be updating the Dam Challenge Discord, showing the winner and the updated theme and the due dates before Monday afternoon. So take the weekend, think about maze and how you want to build a map for it, and then start working on it. And by Monday afternoon, you will see, information about the upcoming theme, when the due date is, and the winner. Again, thank you for participating. Thank you for everyone that watched and came and showed their support. By, looking at these beautiful maps, giving comments and kudos on them, experiencing them as a group, and, just showing love for all this creativity and time and effort put into these maps. You learned 5 new things, Chim. Wow, fantastic. I'm glad you're keeping a tally. Did y'all learn a lot during today's stream? Yeah, Bella, thank you for hanging out with us today. It was absolutely a blast having you here. Appreciate the love from the Fantasy Grounds team, and good luck with all your videos. We will be back on Monday with Mapmaker Monday, which is a live stream where I build a map live in real time for you to watch. This map is actually quite big, quite epic. Been working on it for several months, only about a day a week for about an hour or so. We get about a half hour of building in, because the stream is hosted in AMA format, which means ask me anything. So during that stream, I actually take notes of, your feedback and suggestions for the dev team. Maybe you found a bug. I can take notes on that and share it with them. If you have questions or need guidance, or, having trouble, need immediate support, I can walk you through your problem in real time and try to come up with a solution for you or a fix. And you also get to learn from a master map maker with over 3,000 hours in Dungeon Alchemist. Hey, Cave Beast, thank you for being here. This map we're working on Mapmaker Monday is this massive ancient cemetery complex. It kind of started over in this corner here with an entry, and it has slowly grown. The map is 82 by 82, which is a very big map by any, measure. You have a kind of big road entry point. There's some graves off to the side. We have a parking area around this massive cathedral where they host the funerals. There's a 3-story bell tower that I built by hand. A lovely garden surrounding it, also built by hand. More graves. These are kind of like the various people who serve the church. Clerics, paladins, martyrs, priests, etc. Over hundreds of thousands of years that they've been around. We have lots to go on the map, but it is definitely nearing completion. We've been working on this area, this corner here, which I have been calling the Caretaker's Cottage. It is the caretaker of the massive cemetery's private property, where he lives and, has his farm and, his animals, but also his tools and other stuff to take care of the property here. So here is like some overflow of dirt and stonework and pots for the plants he manages. He also has his little private little garden inside of his greenhouse. Over here we have a lovely little shed with tools in it. Been putting a lot of work into this corner because I want this to feel like it's well lived in and detailed. After this, we're going to be putting in tons of graves along this side. There will be pauper graves, I believe, over here, and then there'll be more fancy kind of terraced graves here. So if you want to watch this be built in real time, tune in on Monday. We answer your questions, we hang out, have fun, and obviously build a map. So thank you for being here with us for the Dam Challenge. Again, the Dam Challenge theme for the next theme is maze. So be thinking about your maze map for your next entry over the weekend. Hopefully you come up with something cool. Otherwise, we'll see you Monday. And thank you for tuning in, everyone. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is a map-making utility available on Steam. We offer a free demo so you could try before you buy, allowing you to build a pub in the forest biome. Remember, the full version of Dungeon Alchemist, though, is a much larger overall pie. The demo is just one small slice. With the full version, it's a lifetime license for a one-time purchase. Gives you access to all past updates and future updates until we leave early access, and even patches and hotfixes beyond that. It allows you to build maps for your tabletop games in moments, or spend hours building incredibly detailed maps that really, really draw your character's eye and spur their creativity and imagination. Remember these streams, we host them several times a week. Monday, Saturday are multi-streams. Wednesday is Discord only, office hour stream. So if you're not a member of our Discord, you really should hop in. Great place to be. We provide support there, answer questions and guidance. There's places you can ask GMs for advice, share your maps, and get feedback on them, etc. Get teasers and updates about upcoming information. And there's events showcasing when the next stream is there, so you can get a reminder about them if you want. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and then we're going to wrap up the stream. So thank you everyone for being here. Hope you enjoyed yourself, and I will see you on Monday.
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta, and before—
What do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him!
What?
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever, find family, kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this? Okay, well, won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have to the
Fabled realm of Goyak-Ta. Please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map maker, on Steam today.
All right, thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time. I give a damn. Back out. Bye.